Welcome, Fever fans, to the final Fever report of the 2025 season. Of course, John and Michelle and I will have a lot of them during the offseason, during the draft, during any free agency. Anything that happens, we'll be there to talk about it. But the final Fever report of 2025, unfortunately, after last night's overtime loss in Las Vegas, the semifinal deciding game. I'm your host, Greg Mingeld. I'm joined by John Robertson, and we will be joined shortly by Michelle Garmon. We have a tight window, so thought we'd get John in here. And your initial thoughts on the season overall, John?
We're in this weird limbo type thing where I mentally can't be upset with how the season went for this team, right? You can be sad at all the injuries and the obstacles and all the things that they faced, but at the same time, you have to be so incredibly proud of how they performed in the face of all of that. It's hard to be incredibly upset, right? But I'm still sad. I'm not ready for it to be over. I wasn't thrilled with the execution of the game last night as a whole. I was so proud of them to get to overtime. Like, making it to overtime was such a huge, just unbelievable. If I told you with this roster that we were going to take the Aces to the brink of 5 games and go to overtime, if I told you that before we started, people would have been like, you're crazy.
Yep.
You would have to have been thrilled. You have to be thrilled with it, especially considering losing Kelsey Mitchell in the third and Aaliyah Boston fouling out early in the fourth. Or no, I guess it was in the middle of the fourth, but we knew we weren't going to have her for overtime. So for the team to still make it to overtime and still give them a run up until the last 2 minutes or minute and a half overtime, this is a fantastic season, fantastic story. But I'm just still not over the sadness of it all being over yet.
Yeah, pretty extraordinary story, to be honest. The whole season. At one point, you and I and Michelle and Mike, I think we all agreed, might just be better to count this season as a loss and move on. And they ended up a game from the finals we can go through the list if you need to. Caitlin Clark, Sophie.
Ari. We lost Sid.
Yep, that was right. And 3 of them right in a row.
We lost Chloe Bibby after we picked her up on a hardship contract. There's one more.
Kelsey last night.
Yeah, so I'm just... For any team to get that close to the finals with that type of outcome is crazy. People can say that the Fever's locker room culture isn't good or whatever. They can say whatever they want, but I think that this team just proved that is absolutely not accurate. The culture of this team is unbelievable. They ride or die for each other. They literally ride or die. They're not just saying it. They're like, we'll go out there and put our bodies on the line for these wins.
Before we get to some big WNBA news that I'm interested in talking with you, in particular, Napheesa's comments on Tuesday night, I want to talk a little bit about next year, because we've been saying next year ever since Caitlin went out, and if they can keep this all together, there's no reason to believe they're not the favorites going into next year, right?
I don't see, well, assuming we have a season next year, assuming there's a WNBA season next year, I guess. I think that's kind of an assumption at this point. But, yeah, I don't see how they wouldn't be the favorites. You have to figure, I mean, let's run down who we think for sure is protected in the expansion draft. Caitlin, Aaliyah, Kelsey, Lexi. Who else? Who's your fifth?
I would assume Sophie.
Oh, yeah, Sophie. Yeah.
Over Natasha.
Natasha Howard can't be taken in the expansion draft due to her status as a veteran. I literally just read that today. She's an unrestricted free agent with no eligibility as a core, so she cannot be expansion draft taken. And I like Natasha Howard a lot. I don't know how many seasons she has left, but I was unsure about her at the beginning of the season. I'm going to be real honest with you. When the season started, I didn't know what to expect from Natasha Howard. And she maybe got off to a slow start with the team, but she really made her value known the second half of the season.
John, even before the first injury happened this year, you and I were questioning. The one question we had was the depth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing that they just kept adding players who contributed. And if they can keep it mostly together, next year you go in with tremendous depth.
Do
Ari
you think?
McDonald.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say
kind of
Odyssey Sims is like
Odyssey
Harry
Sims.
and Odyssey have definitely earned a spot on some team if they are not kept on the Fever. You would obviously love to keep them on the Fever, but I don't know, with the 2 expansion draft teams, it's going to be a weird offseason. And that's all you can really say about it. It's going to be weird.
I brought up earlier that we're going to continue to have Fever reports throughout the offseason. The draft, we will definitely be podcasting. We'll probably do the expansion draft. We'll probably preview both of those things as well. So
Sure.
We'll be doing a lot of Fever stuff during the offseason. It's a long offseason, though.
It is a long offseason.
The Pacers coming.
I'm really excited for the Pacers season. I know that a lot of people are kind of writing this season off without Hallie, but I'm curious. But I feel like this Fever season should almost inspire you to think that the Fever or the Pacers are going to be just as exciting. I can't imagine they don't. I really love the culture around Pacers Fever and how they almost feel like one team.
Yeah, it's great that there are 3 likable teams in the WNBA, and we have the most likable one.
Absolutely,
I think we have maybe the most likable team in the NBA as well, if not one of the most likable teams in the NBA for sure. You say that this is a throwaway season.
I don't say it's a throwaway season.
You mentioned that.
Right. It's been floated out there.
Even if you have a team that doesn't make the playoffs, and they're going to make the playoffs, but even if they were not projected to make the playoffs, it's an important year for the development of the franchise and a team that in 27 will expect to win a championship.
How spoiled are we, though, to get such a deep run from the Pacers and then a really deep run and they're both miraculous stories. They're both such good stories and narratives, not just
lovable teams.
In lovable teams and lovable characters. Honestly, we are spoiled. We're very spoiled. Update. Did you see the update on Kelsey Mitchell? It was just cramping, so she's not super injured. I think we need to talk about that just a little bit because that woman gave everything she had to this team. Right? If you don't love Kelsey Mitchell now, then you don't appreciate a warrior.
Yeah, there's no talking to you.
Yeah. Well, let's think of all the other, like Lexi, warrior. Yeah. Sophie, warrior. I'm curious to see how Caitlin can do if she gets a full rested season where she's not injured. Because if you think about her first season here, she was tired from coming straight out of college. And then this season, obviously, she got hurt really bad. I'm curious to see what she does next year.
Yeah, well, let's hope it's a full season.
Well, yeah, let's hope.
Again, we're going to talk more about the Fever coming up, but I really wanted to get into the WNBA tonight because of the impending lockout, because of Napheesa Collier's comment, and because there still is a final.
I'm not watching the finals. I was afraid you're going to ask me to do a podcast about the final, and I'm not watching it. Not even interested. I don't even care. Literally, the season's over, and I don't care. As far
I'm
as
often that way. I'm often that way when the Pacers lose. I love the NBA playoffs. I love everything about it, but when they lose, it's hard for me to get back into it after they're done.
I can follow the NBA after the Pacers are out, and I'm cool with it, and I usually pay attention. There's 2 unlikable teams, and I don't, and they both just have this aura of yuck.
Yeah, I like the Aces a lot more than the Mercury. A lot more.
I don't know. Asia Wilson's comments after the game just irked me.
I didn't hear her comments. What was it?
Well, she said that everybody counted them out and they were blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
no. They were 4 games under 500 at one point. They were out of the playoffs till halfway through the season.
If that's what she's talking about, fine. But if she's talking about in the playoffs, that's just ridiculous. I'm tired of these people that have to be the victim all the time. This victim mentality nonsense drives me nuts. So anyway, that one bothered. And then they had a tweet of the and I don't want to get too involved in this because it's whatever. But the Aces social media put out a bow, 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 moving on to the finals because they were mocking Aaliyah Boston because that's her thing. And I was like, that's not.
It's dumb.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't like, and I obviously don't like the Mercury because they're playing football and injuring everybody. So, you want to talk about Napheesa Collier's comments? We can do that because I thought one.
Well,
it was
before we move on, summarize them real fast for those who don't know.
Well, she basically said flat out that it could be summarized in the league has the worst leadership in all of sports.
Yeah.
Basically, she said, Kathy, you suck, and the front office is terrible, and it's the worst leadership in sports. She said, I had conversations with Kathy, and Kathy's. This is the part that I thought was ridiculous. I'll just flat out say the part where Kathy, if true, the alleged comments where Kathy says Caitlin should be thanking us for the fact that she can make $16 million outside of the court because she wouldn't be able to do it with us. That is the delusional. There's some delusional people in the WNBA. We've agreed that there's some very delusional people in the WNBA, but that might be the most delusional.
If she thinks that, she has no business being anywhere near leadership of the league.
No, you're absolutely right.
At least half of your audience right now.
Yeah. Well, and Napheesa said Paige and Angel, and I think that Paige and Angel bring eyes too. For Kathy to say that Caitlin should be thanking the WNBA that she can make, that is just nuts. That's absolutely nuts. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't even. I don't know how to wrap my brain around how delusional that is.
After a quick equipment malfunction, we are back talking about the delusional commissioner of the WNBA, John.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how she can stay. Well, before we get to this part, I agree with everything Napheesa Collier had to say. I want to be on record. I agree with everything she had to say.
I was a little surprised.
And I'm really proud of her for being willing to say it.
Yeah.
But I do think the message is diluted coming from her.
Because
she owns or is part owner of Unrivaled, which is a competing league. My analogy when I was discussing it today was, she says, obviously, we know how to run a league because I run a league. And that's like McDonald's saying Burger King sucks and doesn't know how to make burgers because we know how to make burgers. Well, obviously, McDonald's is going to say Burger King sucks. And it's the same situation, right? Unrivaled, even though it's 3-on-3 instead of 5-on-5, it's a competing entity. So while I do agree with everything she says, the conflict of interest, in my opinion, dilutes the power of her statement some.
But she's right.
She's right. She's absolutely right. No, then that's my point. But it's very easy for the league to now say, well, of course you want to knock us down because you're trying to promote yourself, or it's of course you think that there's lots of ways for people to downplay her actual good valid arguments. But somebody had to be the one to do it. She fell on the sword for everyone, and I've seen lots of players thanking her for it today on social media. Natasha Howard did. Lexi did last night in an interview before the game.
All right, I just want to say once again, not the last Fever report, just because it's the last one of the 25 season. Apparently, Michelle Garmon ran into an issue or something, was not able to join us. I know she texted the group last night how proud she was to be a Fever fan, and she had the same sentiments that we did.
She did. She absolutely did. And I know she loves it. There she is.
There she is.
Speak of the you say Michelle Garmon 3 times, and she shows up like Beetlejuice.
That's Michelle. Your thoughts on the season?
I thought the Fever, you couldn't have asked for any more if you were a fan of what they gave you last night in terms of energy, execution, heart, desire, all of those things. You have to be very proud. Last night, Fever gave us everything you could ever want as a fan. Kudos to him. Glad for Kelsey Mitchell. It's just cramps. Stephanie White, I don't care. She may not have the honor. I don't care what anybody says. She was the best coach in the WNBA by far this year. What she did through the season, juggling, keeping that locker room close. And when you look at what her post-game news conference last night, what you also realize is that they also had some issues going on off the court that she handled. They juggled, brought them together. The culture is terrific. And, it's really great. I'm looking forward to next year. I hope the Fever are able to through all the collective bargaining. I hope they're able to retain Kelsey and Lexi, Sophie, Caitlin. This core could be really good, and we know that Stephanie White knows what she's doing when she brings in. I do think I think the organization probably learned a lesson from the DeWanna Bonner situation and will be very careful when signing veteran free agents in the future.
Got to fit in. That's important, John.
I think just their locker room culture is great. I think they're going to try and keep it great, but I agree with Michelle. I think they learned their lesson. I think they really wanted DeWanna Bonner to work out. I think they got swindled. I think DeWanna Bonner planned on that the entire time. No evidence, but I think that's what happened. But you know what? We're going to look forward to next season. You guys let me know who wins the finals.
Thanks so much to John and Michelle for joining me, talking some Fever. For the fourth or fifth time this podcast, we will be back plenty of times in the offseason to talk Fever basketball. And, of course, John and Michelle will be along to talk Pacers basketball starting very, very soon, maybe even tomorrow. But at the very latest, early next week on the next Pacers Report. Please join us. Go subscribe. Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. Go find us so you don't miss any of our podcasts. We also have podcasts on IU, Purdue, the Pacers, as I mentioned, IndyCar, high school football and basketball, college football, the NFL, Major League Baseball in the playoffs right now. We're podcasting every night about the playoffs. Please join us. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.